JayZ's back. He's creating music.
Yeah.
Everybody wanted to get involved. People that hadn't been with you for a while, like Diddy.
As a close friend of JayZ, what was your reaction to him opening up about his infidelities?
Nobody could judge it. You know, they have to accept what it is, and I thought it was dope.
And maybe he feels a little differently about some of the choices that he made in his younger years.
That's what he does.
He does think that's what he does.
It made me realize that he's a great producer, and he's produced Ready to Die and Life After Death.
I mean, I just didn't see it coming. It was just like, I remember it was a Sunday, and it was just like, whoa.
Why you haven't heard from JayZ since Diddy's abuse cases. I don't know what's crumbling faster, the US dollar or Diddy. And in the disturbing heat from the lies and truths flying around, what's more disturbing is that the rap king, JayZ, one of Diddy's tight buddies, has been oddly silent. Is he trying to hide something? Let's uncover the truth. But before we start watching the video, I'd like to mention that if you're new here, subscribing to the channel would mean a lot to me. As a new creator, your support inspires me to produce even higher quality content for you. Now, without further ado, let's jump into the video. Diddy, a name that has been on the hot seat lately, and everyone seems to be working hard to dig out all his long-forgotten crimes and secrets. In the world of hip-hop, words like family and bro are frequently thrown around casually. However, it seems like they are just shallow words that mean nothing because tell me why Diddy's having to go through all of this alone. He's obviously not a global favorite at the moment, but in the midst of these trying times, we haven't heard anything from his close friend, JayZ. Ever wondered why? Well, there's a long list of reasons, and each one will shock you. Apparently, there's more to JayZ and Diddy's relationship than we know. I mean, yeah, they are both highly successful music moguls, and they have a lot in common, including their rivalry with 50 Cent. However, sources say they share the same crimes and sometimes the same bed. Shockingly, JayZ is just as bad, if not worse, really, than Diddy. I mean, yeah, we've heard a lot of JayZ is not the kind of guy he tries to project himself to be on media, especially after the elevator incident with Solange, yeah? But it's just been speculations, speculations, and more speculation. Things seem to be a little different this time. Seems like we have found something more tangible. First up, the reason why I think something is a bit off with JayZ's silence is because this isn't the first time his tight pal is being accused of creepy stuff like this. R. Kelly was in the same situation years ago, and JayZ took the same stand. Honestly, I think R. Kelly should have been jailed for that reckless move, 30 years at the very least, but then he has enough money to avoid proper punishment. Even after finding out all the sick things R. Kelly did to Aaliyah, like his secret marriage to the minor, JayZ was still tight friends with the weirdo. And this attitude is even one of the major fuels and drivers of the age-long rumor that he had something to do with Aaliyah's death. Because silence about your friend's pedophilic tendencies and staying friends with them after something as huge as that can actually be taken as approval. Plus, according to Aaliyah's ex, Dame Dash, JayZ seemed to like Aaliyah, although she didn't reciprocate his feelings. So, some people think it affected his alpha male ego, and he was bitter about it and probably killed her for it, or at least was pleased with her death since it meant that Beyoncé could take her place. Here's why. In 2001, only a few months after Aaliyah's suspicious but tragic death in a plane crash, our power couples Jay and Beyoncé made their relationship public. That's a quick recovery from someone he had been chasing so hard, if you ask me. Then, JayZ dropped the Best of Both Worlds album with R. Kelly. Yup. He didn't cut ties with him because he probably thought there was nothing wrong with what Kelly did. He probably thought, and that's a red flag. Now, we all know that Diddy's been accused of being a pedophile and all that. Well, turns out JayZ's a pedophile too, because Aaliyah was only 15 at the time. But oh well, Aaliyah is actually not the only victim JayZ has had. Remember Tiara Marie, the promising teen that JayZ signed at some point and got mysteriously kicked out? Well, she might not know, but we do. So apparently sources say that L.A. Reid was the only one who actually found Tiara. She was only 18 at the time, but she had a lot of potential and she was seen as a bigger star than Rihanna. Soon enough, JayZ started getting closer to Tiara. She mentioned that she saw him as a father figure. Does that ring a bell? Yup. In Cassie's bombshell lawsuit against Diddy, she mentioned that she also initially saw him as a father figure in the early years of their work relationship. Starting to see the similarities now, huh? If you connect the dots, you'll actually see that JayZ and Diddy are literally the same. Anyway, everything was cool until Queen Bee found out. Everyone knows that Beyoncé is very protective when it comes to her man, but destroying a person's career? That's another level of possessiveness. Ellie Reed said in his memoir that after spending so much time investing in Tiara, since she was the most promising talent they had at the time, Beyoncé just randomly walked in after a showcase and told them to focus on Rihanna instead. And just like that, Tiara's career disappeared into thin air. JayZ made up his mind that if he wasn't going to have her, then no one else could, which explains why even after ghosting her and blocking her, he also blocked her career. Shortly after, word got out that she shouldn't be signed anywhere else, and no one dared to defy the king of rap. The frustration of the entire situation, plus not getting any record deals, drove Tiara into substance abuse at a very young age. She had a tough time. We later heard rumors that Ellie Reed also got involved with Tiara. Now, I know your eyes are obviously bulging out because of the wide 3-decade age difference between the both of them. But wait until you hear that she was eventually sold to RJ. Yeah, you heard right, sold. And well, the rest is history. Anyway, just like Diddy, JayZ didn't stop at Tiara. Nope. He had just decided to hang on and wait for his next prey, who happened to be Foxy Brown. And it was much worse. JayZ started grooming Foxy when she was only 14. Now, that's more minor than minor, honestly speaking. But I guess that's not in my place to judge since. Plus, if you think about it deeply, he actually followed the same trend with Beyoncé. I mean, he met her when she was just 16 years old. And there's a whopping 15-year gap between the both of them. She probably even knew her age was a turn-on for him, and that's why she saw Tiara as a threat. Cassie's bombshell lawsuit against Diddy has really opened the floodgates of buried and hidden crimes. I mean, look at all the info we had been missing out on. With the likes of 50 Cent and Jaguar backing these claims, it doesn't look like JayZ will be leaving the hot seat anytime soon. In fact, the things we heard from 50 Cent are more than enough to keep JayZ on news tabloids for the longest time, or rather, until he pulls the right strength to sweep it under the floor. I know Jaguar sort of helped us see JayZ's pedophilic tendencies, but then, no offense, what's news? R. Kelly is a pedophile, Diddy is a pedophile, almost everyone is a pedophile. We would have found out sooner rather or later if we looked closely at the age difference between himself and Beyoncé. And you know what they say. What we would have never known, however, is that JayZ is gay. Now that's new, and it's got everyone buzzing. 50 made a strong point with this allegation that makes it a bit difficult for anyone to dismiss it easily. The Basia Obsession. If you've been living under a rock or belong to the younger generation, well, Basia was a famous artist in the 80s who had a number of breathtaking graffiti-inspired masterpieces. And more than just being a man who painted on canvas, Basia was also a part of the neo-expressionism move. So yeah, he was pretty impressive, and it makes sense for JayZ to respect him and look up to him. What doesn't make sense, though, is JayZ dressing like him and copying his iconic hairstyle, swag, and even down to his persona just to be like him. Now that right there is super creepy. I guess his song Picasso Baby from the album Magna Carta Holy Grail laid it out, with him straight up saying, "I'm the new Jean Michel." But is there really a limit to how much JayZ embodied the late artist? Is Jay also saying he is bisexual like Jean was alleged to be? If these claims are true, is Beyoncé also in on it? Well, I bet she's in on it. No secret about her man is ever hidden from Beyoncé, and we all know that Beyoncé would go any length to back her man up because she's not actually very subtle about it. In 2021, Tiffany & Co. rolled out a Modern Love campaign, and they had the power couple Beyoncé and JayZ in the front and center with a Basquiat painting in the background. Even the Tiffany app ad once featured JayZ rocking threads that mirrored Basquiat's iconic look from his 1985 New York magazine cover. And guess what Queen Bee gave Jay for his last birthday? A jaw-dropping $35 million Basquiat piece of art. Talk about couple goals. So obviously, Beyoncé isn't in on it. She's fully embracing the Basia obsession. Mixed reactions, huh? Diddy's also been down this road. Seems like Diddy's been down every road JayZ has toured. Guess he's that friend that sticks closer than a brother. Back in 2021, Diddy was openly showing love to Lil Nas X's BET Awards performance, and mind you, that performance ended in a steamy kiss between Lil Nas and a male dancer. And when he dropped a verse on Blood Orange's 2018 track Hope, it only further strengthened the speculations. So it's a roller coaster of speculations, 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 and even more speculations about these rap artists. Anyway, what do you think? Do you think JayZ is a bisexual too? Let me see your take on all these claims and controversies in the comments. And you don't want to miss this next video, as it's revealing how Jaguar Wright has joined rapper 50 Cent to expose Diddy's hidden trafficking cult. Feel free to click on the video to find out more. Thanks for watching!